It's NCAA tournament time from Ben Light Gymnasium here on Bomber Athletics in round one of the Ithaca Regional. It's Babson and Stevenson squaring off in what is do or die. A chip on the shoulder of both teams after falling in their respective conference tournaments, but being blessed with an at-large bid into the postseason. Eli Fishman alongside Toby Zabore bringing you the action. The Babson Beavers enter today the 3 seed. The Stevenson Mustangs, they're the 6. And Toby, the slate, it's wiped clean. Everyone is 0-0 in a winner-go-home game to start the playoffs. And it's right here in the playoffs. That's where stars are born.
Yeah, and both these teams came into this game with very different slates. Obviously, they both lost in those conference tournaments. Stevenson made it all the way to their conference finals. Babson lost in the semifinals to MIT. Babson was kind of back and forth throughout the season. They never really had a sustained sting of momentum except for the middle of the year when they won 16 games in a row. Stevenson really had to battle throughout the year. They won 10 in a row at one point, but they came in 4 wins coming into their conference tournament. Then they lost to Eastern in the conference championship game. They lost to Eastern early in the season. Eastern has moved on in this tournament. There's going to try to be that second MAC Commonwealth team in this Ithaca pool to move on.
In the first game of today, a huge win for Eastern, so they're going to head to round 2. But in this game, the winner is going to face the winner of the game later today between Ithaca, number 23 ranked, and Framingham State. Eastern, they've beat Stevenson the last 3 times in the conference tournament that they've faced each other. Definitely a chip on the shoulder for this Stevenson team. After yet another loss this season, they were able to be blessed with a at-large bid after a very tough schedule. And then a Babson team, they're currently receiving votes in the national poll. They put together a great season, 24-9 overall, 9-2 in conference play. The sole loss coming in the postseason, as you mentioned, it was in the semifinals, coming to an MIT team that is hosting their own regional. They've got loads of success this season, including at one point top 10 in the nation. They're currently number 20, but both teams very much battle-tested against some of the best teams in the region.
Yeah, and these teams both boast some of the top players within their respective conferences. You look over on the Babson side, they've got Lauren Gibbs, who last year was all Region 2 first team. This year she was first team all conference. You look over on the Stevenson side, Darian Dildy, she was the MAC Commonwealth co-player of the year. They've got multiple first team all players of the conference this season. These are 2 teams that are well built at the very top, and they stumbled along their way at the very end in very tough conferences. Obviously, Babson at MIT. You look over at Stevenson, they had Eastern twice. These are 2 teams that have played really tough schedules. Stevenson, of their 7 losses, 6 of them were to tournament teams. They have played a lot of really good competition, so has Babson, so they know what it takes to get to this point. They know that it's going to be a tough battle because they've advanced in the tournament and both have had success recently.
They've both got quite some experience. The 8th straight NCAA tournament appearance on the Babson side. On the Stevenson side, 12 straight, led by head coach Dave Trumbo. And you talk about some of the stars that you've already mentioned on this Stevenson side, but it's led by Darian Dildy, the senior from Virginia Beach, Virginia. 439 hitting percentage. That leads the nation. She was named the co-player of the year in the MAC Commonwealth as both teams getting set to go, going across the handshake line here at Ben Light Gymnasium over the Ithaca Bomber logo, the host of this tournament. Stevenson, they're going to start on the left side of the court with the black uniforms, black bottoms, white numbering and lettering with green outlines, and Stevenson in green and white lettering on the sleeves. Babson, they are on the right side of the court, all white uniforms, green bottoms, all white matching shoes, and green lettering and numbering for the Babson Beavers. 9-2 in conference play, led by Eric Neely, who's got his 8th NCAA tournament appearance coming. This is a rivalry game. These teams haven't faced each other so far this season. Both coming in with chips on their shoulder after losses in their respective conference tournaments. None of that matters now. Babson, the 4 seed, entering today in the Ithaca Regional as we get set to get started. Stevenson with first-round departures in the tournament the last 2 seasons. Babson, they've made it to the second round in 2021 after a first-round departure to Tufts last year, as it will be Babson starting it off on the right side of the court. And Toby, a Babson team that has dominated a whole lot of statistical categories this season. 23-2 when recording more digs than their opponent. 20-3 when finishing more blocks, and the blocks have been a big piece of this Babson team with 203 on the season, averaging almost 2%. As it'll be Lyon Weber to send it in from the right side on the near side, and we are underway as a shooter to the dead center of the court. The overhand set on the Stevenson side, and there's Dildy hitting it right into the net on the attack there. First point of this one goes to Babson.
Yeah, jumped up at it, just couldn't get a good hand on it, knocked it right into the net, and Babson's going to look for that quick start.
Dildy starting on the far side in front of the antenna, the co-conference player of the year. As the first is just over the net, skimming the top. Now it's a beautiful set to Dildy on the block. It's a 1-1 game. Dildy gets her first kill.
And that's key for Stevenson. They started some of these recent games slow and then have picked it up. Against Babson, they're going to want to come out firing if they want to make it to the second round for the first time since 2018.
A loss in the semifinal in the conference tournament against Messiah. Is off some fingertips, kept up in the air on the Stevenson side. The overhand set coming in for the kill. It's off the net. Able to get a fingertip on it as well on the Babson side. That was DeLaurel on the attack. Back to the Babson side, and Stelter to send it over. 47 service aces on the team, leading the squad this year. Kept up in front. Dildy comes down for the kill. You can see why she's leading the nation in hitting percentage. Co-player of the year, already off to a hot start. She's going to come to the bench now.
Yeah, one of the top players on that Stevenson team shows why.
Vaith sends it over on the serve. The light tap over, and the block goes out of bounds on the side out from the near side off the fingertips of Zepfel. Another point in favor of the Beavers.
Stevenson's playing close right in front of that net. You look at a lot of those points early in this contest have come right there on that line, most from Dildy, but still, you saw Stevenson there get right up in front of it. They just knocked it a little too far to the side.
Reich and Melendick check in for Babson. Is sending it over is Reich from the far side. Over the net, the overhand set coming down on the attack, and a fingertip by Reich. She says, that's my bad, but Marin Zepfel with the kill there after entering today, 75 on the season for the freshman. Couple substitutions on the Stevenson side to the left of the court as they will send Samantha Simmers to the service line. 30 service aces on the season for Simmers. The high overhand serve is dug out from the far side. Now on the attack is Lyon Weber. On the overhand set to Stevenson. Can they keep it in the air? No. Riley Kimball gets the kill.
Stevenson's first lead of this contest, and right there, they did a great job of sending it back, and it took a tough hop off a Babson hand, and Stevenson's going to want to capitalize on that every time.
Kimball second on the team in kills last year. This year she's over 265 on the year. Been a big key piece of this offense, as well as the blocking on defense. But a response there from Lauren Griffin and Babson on the attack to get back to them at the service line. We're knotted up 4-4 here in set number one.
That just feels like how today's going to be back and forth throughout. These two teams are very evenly matched. They face the same level of tough competition as we've been saying so far tonight, and it's showing here these teams are battle-tested.
Sophie Shaw checks in from the far side to serve, slams it over to the middle of the court. The overhand set on the near side, and the attack kept up in the air, but it's out of bounds. Yet again, Riley Kimball. Kimball now to the service line, 5-4. The score here with the Mustangs on top, and a service error there by Kimball knocks us up 5-5. Toby, we've seen a couple of electric matches already in this tournament. Set 3 between NYU and Eastern Nazarene going into extra sets. An electric battle there, in addition to a 5-set match in Game 1 between Eastern and Tufts, which was taken by Eastern, as on the third and final hit, it goes into the net off the hands of DeLaurel for a point in favor of the Beavers.
And there's no reason why those good contests shouldn't stop here. These teams are very evenly matched.
Would be quite the interesting match to see Steven paired up with Eastern at some point in the tourney. As now is set on the near side, and the rejection. The double block from Whitehurst, and Melendick sends it back over, makes it a 2-point set one.
It's that line presence that often dictates the pace of a set in volleyball, and right there, Babson controlled it with those two bigs up front.
It's Gibbs, you mentioned earlier, the star of this team, All-American honorable mention last season. How about a service ace? Finding some open hardwood smack in the middle of the court. Couple dives by some Stevenson players just beyond the 10-foot line. Makes it an 8-5 game.
She had 3 of those against MIT in that game in the tournament. It was a big part of why they played that game so close and maybe why they received that at-large bid.
Now sends it over to the middle of the court. Dug out on the near side, Kimball. Now on the attack as it's weakly tapped over. Vieta kept in the air on the dig from right. Again, diving digs. That time on the Stevenson side by Kimball and DeLaurel. They cannot keep it in the air. 9-5. Babson cruising early, and it's going to be a timeout taken by Dave Trumbo on the Stevenson side.
You know, it was one of those balls just right there along the court that you cannot play out, and it's going to be a tough job just to get it up, and Stevenson was unable to do it. But so far, Stevenson had some good control early in this contest. They looked like they were going to be able to keep it close with Babson, maybe pull away at some point, but now Babson just using that presence up front and by the net, and they've kind of taken the presence of Darian Dildy out of this contest early with that 9-5 lead.
We've barely seen Dildy. She came out early on in the set and has not yet returned back in, as it'll be a full timeout here on the Stevenson side. His 16th year head coach, Dave Trumbo, meeting with his squad. 12 straight tournament appearances for Stevenson, and that includes from 2011 to 2018, 8 straight MAC Commonwealth Championships. 7 of those came over Eastern, but the last 3 years it's been Eastern bullying on Stevenson in the conference championship. On the Babson side as well, looking for some redemption after falling to MIT, as you mentioned. That experience, though, playing from behind, definitely serves as that little chip on the shoulder and that motivation for either side. And as we mentioned, everyone's 0-0 coming into the NCAA playoffs. All about who can persevere through, as it'll be Gibbs again after 3 straight points rather. On the Babson side is Gibbs, the leaping serve just beyond the end line. The service error there gives it back to Stevenson.
And key right now is Dildy's checking back into the contest for Stevenson. You want to get that momentum going in the service error. You get a point back, and now you bring in your top player, one of the top players in the country, to serve right on that front line. This is how you climb back into a set.
You got to be able to rack up points to keep her on the front line. It's that simple as it's sent over Hugelstad. Kept in the air on the dig. That time the set from Reich. And on the attack, Melendick. Kept in the air. Stevenson. Another diving dig. Reich. Overhand up. Set. Now the attack from Gray. Overhand set again. Gray comes down with it. The light tap almost accidental. Rolling out off of the fingertips and beyond the front row.
Yeah, and you said it, Eli. It came off the fingertips pretty awkwardly and just spiraled over the top. Stevenson wasn't prepared for that. No one was, and that's why they weren't there to defend it.
Looks like she was going up to smash that one into the floor. A little bit of an awkward push there. Gets the job done either way, as it'll be Ackerman to send it over. From the near side, slamming the ball into the hardwood of Ben Light Gymnasium, as now she sends it over the overhand serve to the far side. Kept up by Kimball. Batter back down, the diving dig. Kimball yet again, and a misplay from Dildy on the attack error. Goes up with the right hand, trying to shove it over on the third hit for Stevenson. Dildy with a receiving error earlier, now with an attack error on the Stevenson side. Sent over again, Ackerman. Far side, Simon. Tapped over, Dildy. On the overhand, set. On the attack, and the kill. Lulu McShane gets in on the action.
Another one that hit awkwardly off of Dildy and then just clanged off the top of that net. That's the second time in a row where she's come back after a play and said, my bad, to her teammates.
4 straight points in favor of the Beavers. 12-6 the score. Overhand set to Dildy, kept up in the air on the dig from Shaw. Beautiful play there to keep it alive as the feed. That time to DeLaurel. Now on the other side of it, We'll say a net violation in favor of Babson. Point goes to the Beavers. It's 13-6.
And the Babson defense has come to play today. All those plays on the line now so far early, they've been able to stop. And right there, a great dig by Shaw to keep the point alive.
Ackerman on the serve, slaps it to the far side, dug out by Kimball. Overhand set, here comes to the near side. On the attack, off some fingertips, Vieta bounces just inside of the end line. Some boost of momentum there for Stevenson after an early deficit.
Yeah, and they were trying to get that momentum back earlier after that first timeout. They couldn't quite capture on it. You just got to get points going now. You still did the Babson run. You got to make a run of your own.
We're going to bring the junior setter, Michaela Thompson, into serve here as the low set, now the overhand set. Just tapping it over, kept in the air by Dildy. Can they keep it in front of the stands on the far side? No, they can't. It was Vaith diving, but just out of the reach on another, just little one of those dunks, shoving it over the top of the net on the Babson side.
You know, one of those just ticky-tack plays that Dildy just couldn't quite play right. Again, it knocks off the top of her fingers and it rolls the opposite way that it's intended to go. She's had 3 of those so far early in this first set.
Line Weber here. Slaps it to the far side. Overhand set. Dildy on the attack. Rejected. Right back where it came from. McShane and Shiner combining on the double block.
That's how you stop Dildy from making an impact. You put 2 right there on the line, and every time she goes to spike it down, you knock it away.
Line Weber to about the 10-foot line where it's dug out by DeLaurel. Back over now. That time Kimball with the kill. She was from way downtown, almost at the end line, where she just went up with the light tap over the net in no man's land for the points. It's 15-8. DeLaurel to the end line, dug out. Stelter on the attack there. Back and forth they go. Rally continues. This time the high set to the far side. Kimball. Babson on the attack now. Some fingertips and the kill. It's Lulu McShane yet again. Enters today leading the team with 228 kills. She's already got herself 3.
And the Beavers building the perfect dam right there in front of the net. Every single time that Stevenson has done the opportunity where they've been able to get in front of the net and try and spike it over, Babson gets a hand on it and sends it over. I don't think Stevenson's ready for that. They look caught off guard just about every single time Babson has rejected it at the line.
That combination of Steiner and Gray. Steiner at 6'3", Gray at 6 foot tall. Gibbs at 6'2" as well. She's got 80 blocks, which is 9th in program history. Entering today, you said it, the Beavers, they're building the dam, and it's come together early as they've got themselves a lead double than what the Mustangs have put up thus far, 16-8. And that front row has been such a big piece of that, in addition to McShane, who's now got 4 kills already.
Yeah, and you think about the height factor there. You talked about Babson having that 6-foot presence for multiple players on the line. Stevenson only has 2 players at 6 foot or above. And you think about Dildy, 5'10", that's nothing to scoff at there on the line, but they're being outsized by Babson.
8 different women at 6 foot plus. Majority of those playing on the front row throughout the course of the season for this Babson team. Tatum Stelter to serve from the near side. Here in front of the Babson bench. Neutral site game here for both sides in the Ithaca Regional of the NCAA tournament. Received. Now the overhand set off the fingertips. Kept up Babson. Babson on the attack now. Dug out beautifully by Vaith. Tapped right over. Vaith again. Just shoved over on the dunk from Thompson. The set and the kill. Isabella Allen gets in that time after she had a team-high 11 kills versus MIT in the semifinal on Friday.
Yeah, and Babson's just on a run here. They have continued to roll ever since early in this contest.
Service error there from Stelter. Gives it back to Stevenson. Down 17-9. Earlier are the Mustangs, and you talked about it earlier, but they've had a lot of trouble getting off to a quick start early in matches. MIT and Messiah both coming late in the conference, is kept in the air that time. Slung over, they thought the point was dead. The no-look shove, kept in the air, the bump set. looking to make something out of nothing here. And the rejection. The combination of Hoover and Zepfel. Babson, they thought the play was dead a few moments ago. Started high-fiving each other. And Steven says, well, how about that? Deficit's cut to 7. On the reception from Allen and the attack, Lauren Gibbs adds a kill.
Think back to that last point before this one. That was key for Stevenson because it kind of keeps you in this contest. And even if you don't win this set, that is momentum that you desperately need to get a play that was arguably dead the second it hit the leg of one of your players, and to keep it alive and get a point off of that is massive for momentum heading ahead in this set.
Ackerman and McShane to the Babson bench. Ready to send it over with the left-handed stroke. It's Reich, who gets a little bit of an awkward angle on it. Off the near side net on the service error. It goes back to Stevenson, and the Mustangs down by 7. Samantha Simmers, the leading center with 376 assists on the season, and the service error makes it 19-11.
And they look at the way the last few of these points have gone. They've been back and forth. Each team has traded a couple of those points right here in this set. Babson wants that. You've got a comfortable enough cushion of 8 where you can allow that.
Sent over and out of bounds on the near side. Trading service errors here as it's going to go back to Stevenson, and something that we've talked about that both teams have struggled a little bit with. They've been working on profusely over the last couple of weeks entering the tournament. How about 4 straight service errors there? As both teams going back and forth, it's now 20-12, going back to Babson to serve.
Yeah, and you need to be comfortable on those serves because a service ace is great for momentum. A service error does the exact opposite, and right now Stevenson trying to climb in. You can't have those.
Gibbs dug out on the reception. Kimball, overhand set. Kept alive. Now the overhand set on the Babson side. Kept alive. It's Vaith. On the attack, beauty from Tara. Back row. Overhand set here. DeLaurel gets the kill off the fingertips of Rach on the far side. And DeLaurel making her presence known early so far in this one. Now 2 kills.
Yeah, and we've been looking to Gray so far on that side for Stevenson, but Babson's been able to silence her, but when you do that, DeLaurel steps up.
Fugelstad over to the far side on the rejection. Dildy kept alive off the block. Bump set. DeLaurel again on the attack. Now the set to the far side. Whitehurst finds some floor. Makes it a 21-13 game. A Babson team that is won in set number 1 in 7 of their last 8. The only one where they lost set 1, that was against MIT in the semifinal in the NEWMAC Conference. Losing set number 1, 16-25. Ackerman to the service line on the far side. Sending it over here. And the shove, the no-looker. Simmers catches Babson sleeping. Looks like she's going to go up in unison with Dildy. Instead, just shoves it right over on the no-look dump.
Now is a smart heads-up play by Simmers. Just as you said, send it over, no look, confuse Babson. They had no one converging in the middle of the floor.
Now a 7-point set number 1. And some miscommunication on the Babson side, and the reception error from Shaw lowers that deficit and will return Thompson to the line. Calling out signals, DeLaurel and the captain, Senior Dildy. On the attack. Now to the far right, overhand set. Just a no-look shove yet again. Doesn't work that time. Now they go with the overhand set. To the far side, DeLaurel and the block. Yet again, Whitehurst and McShane combine on the rejection from DeLaurel to add to Babson's lead, 22-15.
Every time Stevenson has tried to shove it over at the line, They have not been able to. Any of those points are pretty much coming on those mid-set spikes, except for the one no-look pass by Simmers.
Gray checks back in. Sending it over from the line on the backwards set. And some miscommunication there for Babson about who's going to come smack in the middle of the court to set that ball up. Find some empty space and some hardwood.
And 2 of the Stevenson points in a row have come off of miscommunications by Babson.
It's Kylie DeLaurel. Yet again. Tapped over by Dildy. Bump set. Back and forth they go. Now they're set to the far side on the attack. Off the block here. Another chance for Kimball. Finds some open space on the near side in front of the scorer's table. Just like that, it's a 5-point game.
And Stevenson really thinks they can climb back into it, and right now they have been able to. They're going to force a timeout by Babson. You think about how big momentum is playing in this contest right now, and in this set, you're trying to come back tied if you're Stevenson, and if you're not able to, you want to carry that momentum into the future sets. But right now, they got a legitimate chance to come back in this set and really make it a contest with Babson.
Babson was down by 8, up by 8 rather, with moments left here in set number 1, but Stevenson has fought back after all the momentum was in Babson's favor. They are forced to take a timeout called by Eric Neely out of the huddle here. Also, talking about it in the earlier games as well, neutral site game in the NCAA tournament. You got to bring the energy yourself, and the Stevenson bench these last few minutes has come alive in support after they were down early. You can see the momentum shifting.
Yeah, and you can really feel this team climbing back into it. They've gone on a 9-5 run. They've brought a lot of those points back. Now they're going to feel a lot more confident. Every single time they get a point against Babson, that bench is coming alive a little bit more. They're becoming a little bit louder, and that is exactly what Stevenson needs if they're going to climb into this.
DeLaurel to serve it over after she got the kill, which gave it back to Stevenson. And the service ace for Kylie DeLaurel.
Erin Gray misjudged her dive, and it hit right off the front of those fists. Nothing that Babson could do about it. Points again for Stevenson. It's a 4-point set.
DeLaurel again to the back row, Gray. Overhand set on the near side of the block. Welcome to the block party, Marin Zepfel. It's her 26th block of this season for the freshman from Westerville, Ohio.
4 in a row for Stevenson. The momentum is fully on their side in set number 1.
It's now a 3-point game. Awkward reception from Gray. Now the overhand set here. Slapped over. Almost out of bounds. A beautiful save by Gray in front of the bench. Can they swing it over? Yes, they can. DeLaurel. Overhand set. Far side. Kimball. Inbounds within the end line. It's a 2-point game. And Stevenson has woken up from the grave. And they're battling back.
Down 8 doesn't matter for the Mustangs. They have got all the fire here on their bench.
Tapped over, 10-foot line. The set cannot come through. Babson on the attack now. And a beautiful kill for Lulu McShane. The beautiful set from down low. And at 5'11", leading the team in kills, cannot be stopped. It's 23-20 now. Babson on the serve. And a beautiful serve. Just in bounds on the far left corner. Coming from the service line there. And Tatum Shelter, what a job.
Yeah, she's led the team in service aces all season long, and that's another beautiful example. Nothing Stevenson could do but watch.
56 service aces on the season as it's swung over by DeLaurel. The high set here coming to the near side, and Isabella Allen cannot be handled by Dildy. And Babson takes set number 1, 25-20. They were up 8 early on. Stevenson puts up the fight in set number 1, but Babson comes away with the win. Set number 2 when we return momentarily on Bomber Athletics.
Set number 2, volleyball, round 1 of the NCAA tournament from Ben Light Gymnasium. Babson leading 1-0 over Stevenson. Tobias Zabore, Eli Fishman joining you here in this third game of Thursday in this first round of the NCAA tournament. Babson on the lead, and it's been the size of Babson that's been able to stop any momentum that Stevenson has had throughout this contest, and especially keep Darian Diddley locked down. One of the top players in the country in volleyball has had an impact that has been just about zero today.
She has been limited to only 2 kills so far in set number 1. You read the scouting report, you look into the opponent, and Babson has clearly found that Diddley in early this one can be stopped, and that's exactly what they've done. Led by that front line, Lily Steiner at 6'3", Aaron Gray with 39 blocks entering today at 6 foot. And the combination of those two, in addition to Lulu McShane, has been the difference in this one. You've equalized the biggest threat on the Stevenson side early. And Babson up by 8 at one point in set 1. Stevenson fought back to make it a 5-point win for Babson, but an electrifying first set.
Momentum finished on the side of Babson. They scored 3 in a row to down Stevenson at the end of the set. The Mustangs will hope to capture some of that momentum back. They will be serving to Babson on the left side as Michaela Thompson will get ready to send it over. It's been the size of Babson so far over the skill of Stevenson. We'll see if that continues here as it is sent over. Babson on the front line, just tapped over, dug out by the Mustangs. On the near side, send it off the hands awkwardly of Leinenweber. And Stevenson starts off early with the point.
That's how you're going to get your kills for the most part for the rest of this one. And Stevenson swinging it to the back row. Your traditional attack coming from up top on the kill. Trying to slam it into the floor is just not going to work against the size of Babson.
Thompson sends it over as Stelter is able to dig it out. A spike down right there on the floor. Lulu McShane brings the heat, and it's knotted up at 1. McShane goes over the top and ties set number 2 at 1 as Tatum Stetler will get the serve over for Babson. Right there on the line off the hands, and it's going to go down. A great play by Kylie DeLaurel. And Stevenson trying to get momentum on their side. It'll be DeLaurel to send it over on the far side for Stevenson. Sends it over the top of the net. It's going to be a tough play. A great dig by Babson right there on the line. It tops off the hands of Stevenson. And Babson on a set that almost went the wrong way. They end up getting a point off of it, and they left Stevenson confused on the line.
Zoe Ackerman had to guide the ball on the other side of that antenna, making it a really tough play. That ball right on top of the red marker. Tough play for both sides, but well done by Ackerman.
Ruby Reich with the service. Sends it over, dug out by Dildy. Right there on the front of the line. Stevenson can't dig it out. And the ball pinballs around. It's Babson back on top.
Dildy kind of desperately dove for that one over the middle of the court. Not sure if she was trying to set up a potential set there, but it doesn't work out.
It's Reich sends it right into the net. A service error for Babson, and Stevenson's going to get it back where it's back to 3-3. All knotted up as Vaith in the libero jersey for Stevenson. Sends it over the top of the net. Babson sets it right up in front of the net, and that one goes whizzing past the head of Vaith. And it's going to be tipped right off the hands. Babson gets that point on a missile from their side.
Vaith was trying to duck out of the way of that one, almost kind of put her hands over her head as she was going to the floor. Looks like it got a little bit of the dome in addition to some fingertips. Regardless, huge point there for the Mustangs.
So Shaw sends it all the way over the net. Tipped out by Zeffel. Stevenson on the far side. Dug out by Shaw again, right there at the front of the line. Babson with the dig and the save, and a set on down by Isabella Allen. Babson with the size and with the speed in this second set, and they pull ahead 5-3.
Allen has been huge off of the bench all season long, 122 kills. Bring her into the back row, doing exactly what she does best, utilizing that speed, as you mentioned, and the power.
Shaw once again serves it over for the Beavers right there on the line, and this time it's the Mustangs using the line at the front of the net to get their points down. They draw within one.
Leinenweber reads the field beautifully. Sees that opening over the middle of the court instead of the slam. Does the no-look dunk right over into no man's land.
Samantha Simmers gets it over. It is dug out by Stelter. On the near side, sends it over, saved by Simmers. On the front of the line, tips around, and a great dig by Vaith to keep it alive for the Mustangs, and they do send it over. So now Babson will look to respond, a light touch, and dug out by Stevenson. On the far side, a great play. No one can get there. And how about Vieta? The touch all the way across the net from the far to the near side, and it's all knotted up at 5.
How about Vaith and Simmers, too, with the 2 digs on some tough attacks from the Babson side to keep that ball alive, set up the kill.
Simmers sends it back over again, this time on the far side from Babson. Nothing going for Stevenson. All they can do is watch Allen set it down, and it's 6-5. Isabella Allen has done that a lot today. The powerful spike to give the Babson Beavers a lead here in set 2, already up 1-0. Gibbs sends it over, and it's going to go a little too far, an error, and it's knotted back at 6. It'll be Riley Kimball to serve for Stevenson. Sends it over. Babson sends it to the other side. Now once again an opportunity for Isabella Allen. It's going to be dug out by Vaith. On the near side, a little touch by Kylie DeLaurel, and it's DeLaurel getting the points, and Stevenson's back in the lead.
Seesaw. It's the kind of game we saw late in set number 1. It's what we've seen so far here as Stevenson jumps back out.
Riley Kimball with the serve once again. It's going to take an effort by Stelter to dig it out, and Babson cannot find it on the line. Stevenson just knocks it over. Nothing that the Beavers can do. A back-and-forth game, and Stevenson now up by 2.
Whitehurst and Reich right in between them, just slapping around to one another, using up all of their marks.
Once again, front of the line, Babson can't find anything. Miscommunication off the hands of the Beavers, and Stevenson pulling away.
Same thing, some miscommunication. Last point cost them 2 hits, and eventually all 3 of them. That time cost them yet another point with some miscommunication.
Going to take a diving dig to keep it alive for Babson. Whistle blows. There's going to be an error. Stevenson point.
Looks like we're going to see the first time out by Neely. And it's all screams from the Stevenson side. That's how you know who's got the momentum heading to the timeout. Who screams, jumps up in the air when the timeout's called. Babson taking the slow walk into the huddle with Coach Neely on the other side. Stevenson with all the momentum as they meet Coach Trumbo in the huddle.
And we talked about these neutral site games. You have to bring your own energy because the crowd's not going to be behind you. Stevenson has come in with fire. They know they've had some tough matches this season. They have a record of 22-7. They don't have maybe the pedigree that Babson has coming into this contest, but right now they've got the resolve that Babson has had, and they are having a great set 2 after a set 1 where they had to battle back. As Babson breaks their huddle, Stevenson still in talk. They have gone on a run to lead 10-6 over the Beavers here in set 2. Babson had a comfortable lead in set 1, but felt the pressure of Stevenson late and were barely able to hang on. Now Stevenson trying to run away with set number 2 and tie this matchup. They'll get to serve once again with Riley Kimball. Looking to send it over after some serves where Babson has not been able to find it and has been missing the open floor. Kimball gets ready, sends it up and over the net. It's going to hit off of Shaw. Set up on the far side for Isabella Allen, dug out by Vaith. On the near side, right off the front, and there comes the Babson wall. An opportunity from Kylie DeLaurel, but Babson did what they did in the first set, and they build up front.
You can see Simmers with the frustration on the right side of the court. Mishandled a little bit, kind of just taking the step back and the natural reaction to take that step back and let it come off of you instead of on the front side, using one of your hits to go with the overhand set. Can't come up with the clutch there.
Ackerman sends it over for Babson right again on the front, and it's dug out by Stevenson, so they keep it alive just over the net. A great play by DeLaurel. Babson keeps it alive on front of the net. Still alive, ball ticks out, and this time Babson unable to keep it going. Stevenson gets that point back, and they're able to stay alive in front of the net, something they weren't doing in set number one.
That combination of Simmers and DeLaurel there to keep that ball on top. And eventually, yet again, a little bit of miscommunication on the front row for Babson.
Hoover for the Stevenson sends it over. Babson right there on the line, met by Dildy. Babson on the spike by Isabella Allen, sends it down. And Babson trading points with Stevenson and Isabella Allen. You get her on the line, she's a danger to knock that one into the open space.
Allen on this season playing in a total of 67 sets as part of 27 matches. Not a whole lot of starts, but she comes in later in the match when you need her on the front row, comes up clutch.
Line Weber sends it over, and a spike by Darian Dildy. There she is. She's been silent all contest. Now she shows up in a big point for Stevenson.
It's what we talked about after set one. They've neutralized the threat in Darian Dildy, but she says, here I am, far from out of this one. And Stevenson utilizing Dildy, the co-player of the year in the MAC Commonwealth.
A 12-8 lead for Stevenson as Babson can't dig it out. Unable to play it with Zoe Ackerman. Could not handle it, sent it underneath the net, and it's 13-8 Stevenson. Another mishandled ball by the Babson Beavers. That has been a common theme of this second set as Stetler sends it almost all the way to the roof. Now a spike by Gray, but it's dug out by the Mustangs. Going to send it over on a backhand is Riley Kimball. Babson going to set it up. The set down. Lulu McShane puts the points on the board for Babson, and they're able to save a set and a point that earlier looked like it wasn't going to be theirs. 13-9.
Going with a sneaky back set there to the near side. You know what McShane can do.
Stelter over for Babson. Dildy tried to spike it down and was saved at the line, but Stevenson able to keep that one alive. Sent back by DeLaurel. The set and the set down by Lauren Gibbs. Babson trying to make a run of their own after Stevenson pulled ahead. They're now trailing by 3, 13-10.
Talking about the size advantage a lot, especially in set one. You got Gibbs at 6'2". Whole lot of height on Dildy at 5'10" on the one-on-one there.
Just a shove over by Thompson. Babson is able to keep it alive. They try to do the same, unable to have the same effect on Stevenson. Right off the top of the net on a shot by Kimball. Babson keeps it alive, and this match continues. Dildy keeps it alive at the top of the net. Whistle blows, and Babson double tap error, and it's going to be a point for Stevenson on a soft touch by Dildy. Caught Babson flat-footed.
McShane just shoving it into the net and hitting it right back off again on the error there.
Now Babson on the spike off the hands, and Gibbs gets the points back for the Beavers, and it's 14-11. Stevenson still on top, but Babson trading points with Stevenson, now looking for their way back into set number 2.
These two are tied 5-5. Biggest lead so far has been 4. Right now it's cut to 3. Ball goes back to the left side in Babson.
Reich sends it over. Played out by Vaith. Now right there up top, Babson shows the height, and Aaron Gray, the emotion. They're within 2.
5 blocks in the November 1st win over MIT. The win in the regular season against MIT for Babson after falling in the semifinals, and Gray was a big piece of that. 8 kills as well in that one.
And a service error by Ruby Reich, and a team that was trying to claw back in this one. They made their way down to only 2. Now it's back to a 3-point deficit, and a key mistake will give Stevenson the ball back and an opportunity for Kayla Vaith. Vaith sends it over. Played out by Leinenweber. Another opportunity for Gray, but it is dug out by Vaith. Now a spike sent down by DeLaurel. Babson once again controls it, and a great job by DeLaurel to keep this play alive. Sent out, and just a little bit too far. It's 15-13. Another one of those close plays from both Babson and Stevenson. Babson back to being down by only 2 as Sophia Shaw, sophomore, sends it over. It's going to be set up on the near side, played right off the line by Babson, and Stevenson is able to keep it alive. A soft touch over, played up by Mollendijk. Now the soft touch of Gibbs. But the Mustangs keep it going. A set to the far side. It's right on the line. They're going to count it. Riley Kimball puts it through, and this time it goes, and Stevenson keeps their lead to 3.
Placed to perfection. Stevenson able to tack on another to their lead. They've been in the driver's seat, almost lost it. A couple close situations there, down within 2, battling back to the lead.
Simmers right off the top of the net, but it's able to stay in play. Dug out by Simmers. Great play by DeLaurel, and Stevenson keeps it alive. Now it's Babson on the opportunity. A shot by Mollendijk. Picked out and dug by Stevenson. Stelter right there on the front of the line, and nothing they can do about a Gibbs spike. Lauren Gibbs put some points on the board for Babson. Found the open floor and had Stevenson watching it.
Off the dangerous hit just in front of the antenna. Gibbs saw no one on the right side of the court for Stevenson. Took advantage of it there.
It'll be Gibbs on the serve. Dug out and played by Kimball. And a save on the dig by Shaw. Now once again the soft touch. There's going to be a whistle, a point to Babson. The soft touch by Natalie Mollendijk. And it's a 1-point game. Gibbs to serve again, trying to tie set number 2 up after Stevenson held a healthy lead. Brown over, barely getting her hands on it is Vaith, but able to keep it alive. It's right off the net, and they're going to count it the hands. Point for Stevenson. So an error against Babson, and Stevenson gets a 2-point advantage. To play it over is Riley Kimball. Over the top, and it skims off the hands of Sophia Shaw. That one would have been wide, but Shaw tried to play it, played it wrong, and it's 18-15. Stevenson back in the driver's seat.
Right in between Shaw and Stelter, probably out of bounds beyond the end line there.
And there, a service error by Kimball. And right as Stevenson was back with the momentum, they give Babson an opportunity. And now going back to serve will be Zoe Ackerman. Ackerman, the first year, has played in 106 sets this year, has made a big impact on this Babson team and their trip to the NCAA tournament. Played out, and a little touch over to the middle of the court. It's going to be tough to play right in front of the Babson bench, but the Beavers keep it alive. Fought out by DeLaurel, right there on the front of the line. Set down, kept alive. What a dig. Now Stevenson. The spike, this time unable to keep it alive, is Ackerman, and Stevenson gets a key point in this one.
Ackerman was initially the one who slid in, pancaked the ball on the great dig to keep it alive. Can't get to the center of the court quick enough that time.
As Fugelstad will come in for the serve. She sends it all the way over, picked up by Shaw. Tries to set it up, is Allen. But now it's Stevenson on the spike, and the fist of Stelter keeps it going for the Beavers. Notched over by Allen. Opportunity on the near side for DeLaurel. She sends it a little bit wide. They looked like they were going to set it up to Dildy. They sent it to the far side for Laurel, and she sends it too far wide.
Just inside of the antenna and out of bounds on the side out in front of the Babson bench.
So now some confusion on the Babson side.
Looks like the initial call was in favor of Babson. Now it's going to be Stevenson to serve. Still talking this one over. The officials on the near side.
And
Rather looks like it's going to stay 2016.
Stevenson gets a key point taken away from Babson, and so Stevenson will serve again. After a wild sequence, Babson trying to get that point back. It's going to go to the scorer's table off the hands of Stevenson, and Babson brings it in. It's 20-17. So now Isabella Allen will get the opportunity to serve for Babson after they took the point off the board on that last serve, and the whistle blows again. That one just made its way over, but they're not going to count it. So Allen will have to serve again as they weren't set. Whistle blows. Allen with the serve, and this time in the play will go. Opportunity is going to be sent to the far side, a block. Erin Gray sets it down just like she did earlier. The emotion from her. It's a 2-point game, 20-18, Babson trailing.
Second block of the game for Gray there in addition to her 3 kills.
This time the serve goes smoother as DeLaurel sends it far, but it's picked up by Allen right away. Gray once again, a soft dump, and it is picked up by Stevenson, and it's Dildy on the far side smacking it down. Darian Dildy has come alive in set number 2. The MAC Commonwealth Co-Player of the Year, making her name heard. It is 21-18.
.439 hitting percentage, leading the nation, leading the MAC Commonwealth in blocks with 109. Awakening here in set 2.
Michaela Thompson over the top. It's picked up by Stelter. Right there in front of the net. Stelter will just soft touch it over. Faith picks it up. Now it's on for DeLaurel. She touches it over. Babson converges on it, and the spike goes wide. Isabella Allen put too much on it, and Stevenson 3 points away from tying this matchup at 1 set apiece. Michaela Thompson serves for Stevenson, touches it over, and Erin Gray is the first to set it. She spikes it off the hands up front, and Darian Dildy right there on the front line could do nothing about it, and Erin Gray, another spike, and another time it turns into a point for Babson.
You're running out of time to make those errors on defense. Down by 3. It's got to be the offense to come up. You got to end this set quick.
A heavy set there by Stetler, but it goes, and there's a great play by DeLaurel. Goes into the ceiling, bounces off a light fixture, and the low ceiling of Ben Light Gymnasium favors Stevenson. A weird play. Babson couldn't read it, and a dive by Ackerman, nothing going.
Horizontal pillars. That one bounced off the light, and the Babson side just looking at each other like, where is that ball? It comes down. No one's there.
So Babson going to try and fight back, and they do right there. They get it back on the point, and it's 23-20. Babson crawling back in set number 2, trying to take a 2-0 set advantage. As getting ready to serve is Lulu McShane. Shane sends it over. 2 trying to dig it out for Stevenson. Almost costly, but Dildy saves it. Now on the far side, going to be knocked over by Allen. Picked up, and here's DeLaurel. DeLaurel with the spike save on a dig by Stelter. It goes out of play. Still alive, though. Picked up by DeLaurel. Now it's for Dildy off the hands up front. You can hear the bench. It's a point for Stevenson. They're 1 away from knotting up the contest at 1 set apiece.
Dildy, who got a little bit of an awkward set there, coming in from the far side, supplying the attack. Finally a chance to end it for Stevenson.
Match point goes over. Set up, picked up, and now an opportunity for Gray. She hits it off the net. After multiple times in this set, Gray being the one with the spike, who got Babson points back. It's Gray who hits it in the net, and we are tied at 1 set apiece. Babson and Stevenson will be back with set number 3 in a little bit.
Back from Ben Light Gymnasium as we get set for set number 3 in round number 1 of the NCAA tournament in women's volleyball. Stevenson and Babson. Babson took set 1, 25-20. Stevenson, they flipped the script in set 2, a 25-20 win for themselves. Big story in that one is that we saw the monster that is Darian Dildy come alive with 4 kills there in addition to a couple blocks for the co-player of the year in the MAC Commonwealth Conference.
Yeah, until that point, anytime we had said Dildy's name was because the ball had just come off her hand in an awkward way, and a point had got Babson's way. If you're going to win this game, you need Dildy to come alive in this one. She did in that second set, and for Stevenson to have her now being a key factor in this contest, that's going to be huge.
The two switching sides of the net. Babson to the right in the white uniforms. Stevenson to the left in the black. Getting set to go here in what has been a seesaw first 2 sets. Tied 1 apiece. And a fight for who will go to the second round and face the winner of the Ithaca and Farmingham State game coming up right after this one. Eli Fishman alongside Toby Zapore on Bomber Athletics. Babson starts it off on the right side of the court, and it's Sophia Shaw. 26 service aces on the season for Shaw, including 1 already today to send it over. From the far right side, gets a leaping start, dug out on the far side by Kimball. There's Dilly, taps it over. The dig from Shaw. Slapped over Gray. Dig again, Kimball. Far side overhand set, kept alive. Rallying back and forth for who's going to take point number 1. Another great dig on the far side from Ackerman. And Babson off the net. Point 1 goes to the Beavers.
Darian Dildy gave it all she had at the very end. She dove for it. It hit off just the wrong part of the hand. If that had been a little bit to the other side, that would have gone over.
After the rally, the reception on the Stevenson side, the set, the block, kept up in the air. 1 chance, out of bounds. Off the block, Erin Gray, another big piece of that after she had 2 blocks last set.
And Babson's 2 points have all come off of awkward hits on the Stevenson side that have just not broken their way. They're still in this.
The twirl and the bullet to the center of the court. Now the overhand set, far side, and it's out of bounds. Far out on the near side. Babson with another point. After that time, it was Zepfel on the attack for Stevenson. Great opportunity, great line to a point. Just out of bounds in front of the scorer's table. Sent to the near side and out of bounds on the service there from Shaw. First point of the set for Stevenson. It's 3-1.
And every single point here so far in this third set could have gone the other way had one another thing broken.
Back set. Tap. Dildy keeps it alive. Overhand set, far side. Now Simon. Dug out Shaw. Gray. Far side. Just in bounds. Where the stripes meet on the far left corner of the court. Bullseye makes it 4-1.
This has been a game of momentum shifts.
Stetler. Middle of the court, just beyond the 10-foot line. Overhand front set, and the dig from Shaw. Kept alive. Now Gray gets herself another kill. Erin Gray.
Sophia Shaw, one of the best digs so far in this contest, kept an almost certain point off the board from Stevenson and is able to set it up for Erin Gray, who, when she's been given the open space so far, has been deadly today.
And Coach Dave Trumbo taking first time out. 5-1, Stevenson down here in set number 3. After the 2 going back and forth in the first 2. Looking like a different Babson team and a different Stevenson team. Early on in set 1, we saw an early lead for Babson in set number 1, where Stevenson eventually fought back to make it a 2-point game early on and late as well, keeping it close. Babson came out on top 25-20, then a 25-20 win for Stevenson in set 2. But Toby Stevenson a good chance to go back to their bench and reset a little bit.
Yeah, and when they've been able to reset, you see what that coaching staff has done. Dave Trumbo, Jessica Giselman, and Brian Trumbo, they have been a really good rock for this team so far in today, and that's been part of the reason why they've been able to be steady and then come back with spurts of momentum that keep them going in this contest.
You saw Stevenson fired up in the huddle. They came out with 25 seconds left before the clock rang out and ordered them back onto the court, but they come out ready. Now the low set, now the overhand set. Dilly just taps it over. Kept alive on the Babson side, Ackerman. Now the high set. Kept up in the air on the attack. To the far side, the block. Slung over by Raish. Kimball. Back and forth they go, and it's going to be Lauren Gibbs who ends it with the kill. Another for the All-American.
That hit right in front of Michaela Tompkinson, right in the perfect spot for her to hit it, but Gibbs just hit it too fast for Tompkinson to react on it.
Kill number 8 on the day for Gibbs. As far out on the serve from Stelter. Service error puts it back into the hands of Stevenson. And Vaith ready to send it over from the far side. Gets a leaping start. Low set. Gray taps it over. Can they keep it alive? No. Off the fingertips of Thompson there.
And again, just like how this set started, some really close volleys on that Stevenson side where you think maybe one or two things. If it hits off the hand this one simple way, if they're able just to get their hands a little bit higher on the front line, maybe these points change, but it's not how volleyball works.
Race just send it over. Over to the far side where it's dug out. Now a fight for the ball on top of the court. Winkley tapped over. Their side of the 10-foot line. Low set. Off some fingertips. Marin Zepfel, the freshman, with the kill. Battling back here, the Mustangs. Taking it back on the near side, ready to serve. Down 7-3 here in set 3 after Simmer sends it over to the heart of the court. Low set here, and off some fingertips. Doesn't matter. Bouncing just in front of the back row. Another point in favor of the Beavers.
You think about the way Babson played in set number 1. They used their height and everything to their advantage, and they looked like just the more physically dominant team. Then set 2, Stevenson kind of used everything in their ability to kind of get back in that and play some trickery on Babson, but now Babson pulling ahead again.
Sent over Griffin. Front set. The tap from Hoover. Contained by the Beavers. Now the high back set to the far side for Vieta. Aired out. Blocked. Kept alive. Back to Stevenson. The tap. And it cannot be corralled by Whitehurst. Great job by Stevenson on some tough digs to keep that ball in play. They've cut the deficit to 4 just like that.
Yeah, in those tough plays, they haven't been giving up all of this third set, and that's what's been keeping them alive in a lot of these volleys.
Their side set. Out of bounds on the attack from Allen. 3-point game. And it's Kimball from the near side. The leaping serve from the corner. Service error off the top of the net.
Yeah, and once again, you think about this has been a game of runs. One team gets going, and you think they're going to have all the momentum, and right there it felt like Stevenson's time to break away. You cannot have that happen against you.
Gibbs. Overhand serve to the back part of the net. It is let go by the back row for Stevenson. Good call there. They're back within 3.
And you saw Riley Kimball kind of lean into it initially and then lean away from it. She saw as that was coming right at her to not play that because it was going to go wide. And they're not trying to force anything happen even though they are down currently in set number 3.
Dildy and Fugelstad return to the court for the Mustangs. There's the high set. The slam sent right back over by Vieta. That time, no one can compete with Isabella Allen. Babson jumps out to a 4-point lead, 10-6.
Yeah, Isabella Allen has been making plays like that pretty much all of today. And you look at Babson, they've been making a lot of those big plays where they're just able to get up and no one from Stevenson can dig it out and make even anything close to a play on it.
Ackerman twirls, sends it center of the court. Dug out on the rejection. DeLaurel back over. Tap back. Kept alive, Dildy. Overhand set to DeLaurel on the far side. Kept in the air. DeLaurel again off some fingertips. Kept alive, but some miscommunication. On the near side 10-foot line, right in between Allen and Leinenweber.
Yeah, they each thought the other person had it, and you wonder if maybe they thought that it was going to go wide and they were just going to watch it drop and get that point. But instead, they play a little too conservative trying to get it, and Stevenson, a golden opportunity to get those points back and go on a run.
Down by 3, only now. Thompson. Kept alive. Ackerman on the attack. Off the net. Raz Gebruna. That time on the attack with the error. Stevenson chipping away after an early deficit. A 4-0 run started this set for Babson. It's now 10-8. Sent over to the back line and beyond the back line. Kimball just let that one sail on the attack from Allen. It's a 1-point game.
Again, it's Riley Kimball on the back line making that judgment. She's not trying to force Babson to get those points. She's not trying to force anything for Stevenson.
Thompson, Leinenweber, overhand set on the back set. Off the fingertips of the block, the side out. That time, Stetler on the attack. Babson makes it 11-9 as we're going to see a couple substitutions. Aaron Gray checks back in, as does Shaw.
Yeah, that one hit right between the hands of Dildy and DeLaurel, and just nothing either of them could do about it. They converged in the wrong spot, and it took an awkward hop.
Shaw. Side out. On the service error. Back and forth they go.
It's been the theme of today's game. Back and forth, doesn't matter the set.
Who's going to keep the momentum on their side? Back set. On the attack and the kill. McShane, welcome back to the party.
And you've seen Babson getting a lot of those points off those aggressive spikes. Stevenson has had to lob it over and get it on the soft touch and the soft play. Babson has had the exact opposite.
Stetler set up Vape. Now to the far side, just tapped over. Kept alive, Dildy. High set for Kimball. On the attack, the rejection. A little bit of a half block. Half like going up for the dunk there. It's Gibbs again.
And there it is again. Anytime that ball gets right on the line in front of the net, you got to think Babson's size is going to have to play into it. Hasn't been much of a factor since set number 1, and now it's becoming a bit more of one.
2 straight points after it was a 1-point game at a time. Out of bounds. On the near side, right corner from the attack of Kimball. Makes it a 4-point game here in set 3. Babson has jumped out to their biggest lead since their early 4-0 run. Kept up in the air, Ackerman. Back set to Gray on the attack. Kept alive by DeLaurel. Now to the far side, Kimball up into the air off the ceiling. Gray taps it to the far side. Sent over, 10-foot line, DeLaurel. Overhand set, Dildy taps it, dug out. Stelter. And ending that rally, Lulu McShane. It's a 5-point game.
And earlier in this contest, we saw the light and the roof of Ben Light Gymnasium work against Babson, one that went and hit off a light fixture, gave a point to Stevenson. Right there, the roof worked in favor of Babson because it hit off one of those pillars right into the hands of Gray, and she was just able to knock it over and keep the volley going.
A lengthy rally there for either side, but as you said, that time the ceiling playing a little bit of an advantage, and the low ceiling here at Ben Light Gymnasium. Set 3 between Babson and Stevenson. We're all tied 1-1 heading into 3. But playing advantage there, the perfect set for for McShane, who's had herself a day already in this one, now with 9 kills. Allen leading the bunch for Babson with 10. Well, on the other side, it's DeLaurel, who's got 8 to pace Stevenson. Stevenson made it a 1-point game. It was 9-10 a few moments ago. But Babson, it has been all Beavers since their early comeback in set 3 after an early run in the set for the Beavers, which saw them up by 5 points. Stelter preparing to serve from the far side. Pounding the ball into the hardwood before she goes for the overhand serve. Dug out in front of the antenna. Last chance here. There's DeLaurel able to swing it over. On the attack and on the block. Darian Dildy. There she goes again.
And you get her on that line, and so far today, ever since the end of that first set, when she gets her hands on the line, it's almost been automatic.
On the reception from Shaw, the overhand set, and the kill. McShane again. 5'11", the power that she brings, unstoppable when she gets the perfect set.
Yeah, and there all Vaith could do is get her hands on and just sent it behind her.
It's a 5-point game now. 16-11, Babson on top. The set to the far side. Kimball kept in the air, overhand set near side. Gray kept alive. Back set. Kimball on the attack. Keeping it up. Now Gray. DeLaurel. Overhand set. And the kill. Kimball comes out of nowhere from the back row and finds herself smack in the middle of the set. Deficit cut right back to 4.
And that's the mindset of Stevenson, is every single time Babson goes on a run, you don't see them hang their heads. They just get right back into it, and they're just going to try and keep climbing back into it until eventually they can bring it to a tie.
Simmers checks back in. The reception, the front set. Gray taps it over. Kept alive by the front line for the Mustangs. And just inside the corner, Babson. That time, Stelter adds to it, 17-12.
And DeLaurel actively thought it was going to go wide. You saw her converge on it, then back away and put her hands up to signal that she wasn't going to make a play on it. And that time, the kind of passive nature of Stevenson, it's worked in their favor so far today. And a lot of plays that have gone wide there, it works against them.
Gray and Shaw come to the bench for Babson. Out to serve Leinenweber. Overhand set to the far side. Vieta slams it down onto the hardwood.
As we said earlier, that's how Stevenson's been getting a lot of their points. It's the soft touches right on the line where Babson isn't on the front set.
All she had to do is just tap it right over. Kimball. Near side serve off the net and the error.
And when you're trying to make a comeback in a set like this and you're down by a couple of points, you're trying to make your way back into it, errors are the last thing you need because it flips the momentum and it gives your opponent the ball back and a point.
Gibbs. Near side, she sends it over. Kept in the air. Overhand set to the far side. Kept alive. Babson on the attack. And the combination of Hoover and the net send that ball right back where it came from. It's a 4-point game against Stevenson. And the Mustangs, they're not going away.
Yeah, McShane tried to send it over, but she sent it a little too low and right into the netting. Stevenson's not going away here in set number 3.
Hoover comes out. Fugelstad comes in to serve. Front set. Again, Dildy, no. Kept alive on the dig from McShane. Back to the near side. At it again. On the block. The double block from Vieta and Dildy. And it's still a game.
It felt like that set was going to be done a lot earlier until McShane picked it up off the deck and kept it alive. But what a great job by Stevenson not letting that get to their head.
Dug out. Sent it right back over in front of the antenna. And that time, DeLaurel tapping it over. Two players fighting for the ball in front of the net, meeting each other's hands. It's Stevenson.
And you can hear who the favorite of this neutral crowd site is. It's Stevenson. They're in love with that bench that has been fiery all day thanks to the efforts of Brian Trumbo, the volunteer assistant coach.
Overhand set to the near side. The rejection. Again, DeLaurel, Dildy. It's a 1-point game.
And how about it by Stevenson? They are feeding on momentum and feeding on the energy here, and they're going to get the timeout, and you can see their bench a lot more hyped up than that Babson bench.
Babson takes the timeout. What a stand for Stevenson. 4 straight points. Making it 18-17. It is now a 1-point game for who is going to go to set 4 with the advantage. One of these teams is going to go to set 4 needing a win to win it. One's going to go to set 4 with their backs against the wall. Who will it be? Well-timed TO for Neely and his squad. The 2-time NEWMAC Coach of the Year. Talking it over with his team in the huddle. Gibbs has been on the bench for the last couple of points as well. We'll see when she comes back in. But as you talked about going to the bench, it's all favor. But the momentum is all in favor of Trumbo and his team with their hands in the huddle.
Yeah, the momentum in this game almost feels kind of fickle because whoever has it, they're inevitably going to lose it. And that's how momentum works in sports. You have it only so you can lose it. In this game, no one has been able to preserve it. If one of these two teams is able to go on a run and actually stymie their opponent, then I think that's going to be the team that really pulls ahead in this contest.
Stevenson, they're now down by 1. Fugelstad sends it over after 4 straight points. We're tied 18-18 on the service ace for Nicolette Fugelstad.
Everything is working in Stevenson's favor. Those exact plays were going against him earlier in this third set.
5 straight points. Overhand set. On the block, kept alive. Last chance, DeLaurel. Off the fingertips. And just like that, the Mustangs have taken the lead for the first time in set 3. They lead 19-18.
Samantha Simmers had 211 digs on the season, one of the biggest ones of the year right there.
Sends it to the near side, back row. On the attack, the block. And the points. The block party. Dildy. Vieta. Wow, what a comeback in set 3 for Stevenson. They're cruising along with 6 straight points.
And if you had any question why Dildy was the MAC Commonwealth Co-Player of the Year, there it was right there.
Tapped over. Back row. Overhand set. DeLaurel. Dug out by McShane. This time dug out on the Stevenson side. Kimball on the attack, the block. Kept alive. One more chance. DeLaurel taps it over to the back row. Overhand set. Near side. Kimball keeps it alive. DeLaurel again. Off the fingertips. Dildy. The stand continues. Who's going to win it? It's Stevenson. Kimball finds an opening on the back row. They're up by 3.
Babson too passive on the back line. We saw Stevenson look like that earlier, and that works against the Beavers.
8 straight points for Stevenson. Wheels falling off for the Beavers. Overhand set far side to Laurel. Off the fingertips of McShane. And another timeout by Babson. This game, this set, has done a complete 180.
Make it 9 in a row for Stevenson, and it felt like through most of this entire third set, this was Babson's to take. But Stevenson, first set, felt like it was Babson's to take the entire time. They came back and made it a 5-pointer. Second set, Babson was making a run. Stevenson stopped it cold. And now once again, Stevenson on a roll. And they are 3 points away in set number 3 from taking a 2-1 set advantage. And you can tell they've become the darlings of this crowd here on the South Hill.
They were down by 5 points at one time, down 15-10. They've since battled back after at the start of this set, Babson got out to a 6-0 lead after a 3-0 run. Trumbo called a timeout. 3 points into the set. That's something you don't often see, but that's how far up ahead Babson was at the beginning of the set. Now they're 3 points away from taking home set 3.
And that's how important he knew those first few points were. He knew they had to get themselves set right away for a moment like this late in the set where you get yourselves a 4-point opportunity to play with, and now you can just try and set it down and take a 2-1 set lead.
9 straight points for Stevenson. Yet again, it's Fugelstadt to send it over from the far line. That time, the service error. She's laughing it off a little bit as she's going to come out of this game. 2 substitutions. As for Stevenson, it's Hoover and Vaith checking back in.
Yeah, and there's the confidence that when you build up a lead on a bunch of momentum will give you, you're not going to hang your head after a play like that.
And the reception error there. That time in the middle of the court from Vaith. Smack in the middle. Got caught flat-footed. Babson, 2 straight points. It's 22-20. The left-hand serve. Vaith, overhand set. Dilly, blocked. Sends it right back over. Middle of the court again. The dunk. And the kill. Rather, the reception, Era Melendic could not handle the tap from Dildy.
The awareness of Darian Dildy after her first tap over got blocked. Instead of letting it go by her, she right away put her hands back up and knocked it to the other side and set up a perfect run for Stevenson. Now they're 2 away.
23-20. Stevenson at 1.9 straight points to take the lead after they were down big early in set 3. Thompson sends it over. Kept alive, the overhand set, and a dig. Kimball with a chance at it. Stabbed and kept alive. But yet again, it's Whitehurst, the freshman, comes in with the kill. It's a 2-point game yet again, and the serve goes back to the Beavers.
Babson just trying to climb back in, and right now, the momentum is starting to favor them. If they can get one more point here, you're only down by 1, and you're going to be in a great spot.
Service error there from Isabella Allen. It's set point.
And Stevenson had to go on a 9-point run to make this a close set.
Stevenson was down by 6 after 9 straight points. They've taken set number 3, 25-21 after they dropped set number 1. The Mustangs have come alive. We're headed to set 4 with Stevenson up 2-1.
Stevenson, after being down against Babson, scores 9 in a row on a run, and they lead 2-1 over Babson, one away from advancing to the second round for the first time since 2018. Round 1 coverage of the NCAA Women's Volleyball Tournament here on the South Hill. Stevenson and Babson, Tobias Zabore and Eli Fishman here on the Columbia Bombers Athletic Stream. Stevenson was down in the first set. They almost looked down and out. It felt like it was going to be a 3-set game at one point. But Stevenson, a never-say-die attitude, and they are looking to come in here, upset the 3 seed against the Babson team that is 7-0 in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
Stevenson was down 7 points in set number 3 at one point. At one point then, 9 straight points, 2 timeouts over that span by Eric Neely and co. And they battled back to one of the most electrifying come-from-behind set wins you will see. Momentum all in favor of Stevenson at the moment.
Stevenson will get set to serve here. They lead 2-1. In this first ever meeting between the Mustangs and the Beavers. Getting ready to send it over will be Michaela Thompson. Thompson readies, goes up, knocks it over. Set 4 is underway, played out by Stelter. Now on the near side, sent over, hit off the hands, but a dig by Stevenson to keep it alive right at the front. Goes down, Gray with the yell, and Aaron Gray keeps it going. Babson once again, the first points of a set. They have a 1-0 lead.
Make it the first 4 sets. They've gotten out to the first point lead and had the momentum early on after they were up 6-1 at the beginning of last set.
Well, Tatum Stelter sends it over as Babson trying to keep it alive in the back set. It's picked up by Stelter. Right there on the line, playable for McShane, off the hands by Stevenson. They keep it alive. It goes down, a dive by DeLaurel, and it's 2-0 Babson. Once again to serve is Tatum Stelter. Playing it out. Stelter waiting, a 2-0 lead for Babson. Going to be playable for Riley Kimball. And right there is Dildy, sets it down, the first point of set number 4 for Stevenson. Who else but Darian Dildy?
She was limited to 2 sets, 2 kills in set number 1. Was neutralized by the front line for Babson. She's now over double digits on the day.
DeLaurel sends it over. It's dug out by Shaw. Now on the near side, playable by McShane. Heading to the far side, just over that post. And it's going to be in Babson play. McShane on the spike, and McShane sets it down. 3-1 Babson. Lulu McShane again.
Haven't called her name in a little bit for McShane. She's now over 10 kills on the day after what was a historic regular season for the senior.
That'll be Ruby Reich, the senior, to send it over. Just gets over the net. Playable now for Stevenson. Set on down by Darian Dildy. It'll be for Babson as Dildy sends it just wide of the line. Dildy thought she had it, as did the entire bench for Stevenson, but as soon as the play went, Babson knew it was wide, and so they get to send it over again. A 4-1 lead here in set 4, trailing 2-1. Dug out by Vaith. Dildy right on the line, sets it down. This time it counts. It's 4-2.
After what it looked like a momentum booster for Babson, when a call goes in your favor, goes right back to Stevenson, battling from down early yet again.
Tough play off the hands, but it's Stelter to send it. Now there is Gray over the line. Stevenson keeps it alive. DeLaurel sends it over. A dive by Stelter on the dig. Playable, tough dig. It goes into the net. What a job by Kylie DeLaurel on the dig. Just cannot send it over. And it's going to be 5-2, Babson leading.
Just awkward coming off the hands there. She slides, pancakes, it goes up into the air. Almost looked like it would be a good potential accidental set, but instead nobody touches it. It goes off the top of the net and right back down on Stevenson's side.
And in back-to-back sets, it's Babson taking a big lead, and once again a play off the roof favors Babson. There have been 3 that have hit the roof. 2 have favored Babson. That time it hit one of the air ducts, and it drops like a stone, 6-2. Babson trying to run away here with the set. Hits off the top of the net. Playable for Stevenson. Sets it over. Dug out by Leinenweber. Now on the near side. Played right at the line. Couple touches. Babson keeps it going. Dug out by Vaith. Now heading. It's going to be played by DeLaurel. It hits the roof. Favorable for Babson as that one would have gone too far wide. Now DeLaurel plays. Sets it over near side. Once again, Stelter is there to keep it going. Off the hands up front. And it's going to hit the floor, but the play keeps going. That one dug out by Stevenson. They get away with one. Volley stays alive, set down. This time it drops, and it's going to be point for Stevenson.
One that looked so close, sliding between the hand of Stelter and the floor, rather Vaith and the floor. So close to whether that was a point for Babson or a dig for Vaith. It turns out to be in favor of Stevenson and eventually a point.
So Stevenson, maybe the momentum boost they need as it's dug out by DeLaurel. On the near side, played for Kimball. It hits the line, stays in. It's a 2-point game.
I think we're going to talk a lot about this in set 4 or however long it takes. There's not going to be a number that Babson can be up by where we're going to count Stevenson out. No question.
Babson trying to increase their lead after a Stevenson comeback. An awkward hit off the hands of DeLaurel. She crashes into Samantha Simmers. That one goes into the blue back netting. And so Babson again leads by 3. It's 7-4. And getting ready to make the serve is Lauren Gips. As you said, Eli, no lead is too safe for either side here. Played over, hit off the hands of, on the far net, that came off the hands of Vaith. It hits the net. Point goes Babson's way, and it will now go to 8-4, a 4-point set.
Michaela Thompson there, second block of the day.
Gibbs to serve again. Sends it over. Played up by Vaith. Now on the near side, hits off the hands up front, drops. Vieta, once again, she comes alive in set number 4, and it's back to being a 3-point contest. As Riley Kimball will serve from the back line. Sets it up and over, and that one goes, and it hits in off a hand, goes wide, and it's a point for Stevenson, 8-6. Riley Kimball, perfect placement. She'll serve again. That one hits into the net, just too low. And it's between 9-6. Serving will be Zoe Ackerman. Ackerman, the first year from Aurora, Colorado, has played a major part in Babson's run here into the tournament. Dug out by Vaith. That time it drops on in. 9-7. Count it.
DeLaurel, what a job she has done so far today with 11 kills, a couple of assists. Not someone that shows up on the stat sheet with the most absurd numbers on the side for Stevenson, but she's put up performances like this all year long.
She was an honorable mention in the MAC Commonwealth Conference, showing why today, as it's sent over by Babson. Playable. Now for DeLaurel again. That one goes just wide. Put a little too much on it. They thought they had it, but that one did go beyond the baseline, and it's 10-7. As substitutions made for both sides. Going to make a play now on the serve will be Sophia Shaw. Shaw coming in for Babson. It's been one of the service leaders of the day for the Babson College Beavers. Takes a few steps and sends it over the netting. A dugout play, but right there on the spike. What a job by Babson. And a play by Nora Whitehurst. She's got all the brown bread on the plate before Thanksgiving. It's 11-7.
Heck of a dig by Vaith, but surpassed by Whitehurst. Saw the dig coming just over the net, sends it right back where it came from.
Shaw digs it over. What a job, and a spike. Erin Gray right on the line. The dig out by Juliana Vieta. And Babson rolling in this set.
It's the same exact play. Virtually the same play, same spot. Only thing that was different was it was Gray that came down from up top.
It's going to be a point actually for Stevenson, as that spike would have seemed like it went wide, as the judges call it. So now it is 11-8. Dug out. Playable over. That one is wide. Point for Stevenson. Lulu McShane sent it too far on the far side. Goes into the stands, and Framingham State sends it back. It's 11-9. Michaela Thompson right over the net. It is dug out by Sophia Shaw. A fake jump. That one is in. No question from Lulu McShane. It's 12-9, and that one was within the sidelines. Sent over by Babson. An awkward hit, and nothing they could do about it. DeLaurel hit it awkwardly. Dildy tried to save it. She could not. It hits right in front of the net. 13-9 Beavers. And once again, Tatum Stetler gets to send it back over. Whistles blow, and timeout called by Stevenson. Trailing by 4. Remember, in the last set, they were trailing early, called that timeout early. Now it's a little bit towards the middle of the set. But Stevenson up 2-1, trying to advance, and they're going to look to take a break.
Babson was out to the 4-0 lead in set 3, but it was the timeout called by Trumbo 4 points into the set. That completely shifted the gears of set 3. Trying to work that same magic here within 2 on a couple of occasions was Stevenson. But Babson on the service ace category. Also, that front line that was so dominant, especially in set 1, where you mentioned it a couple minutes ago, but it looked like it was going to be a sweep. We didn't think we were going to be here in set 4 early on after how dominant the front row was for Babson. But Stevenson, every aspect, they've come alive. Sometimes different opponents, different conferences, teams you haven't seen before. Just takes a little bit of getting used to. And Stevenson, they've come alive, trying to shift the momentum back in their favor yet again.
And Stevenson has been a team that has faced tough competition all season long. They played Eastern twice, including in the MAC Commonwealth title, a loss that they had to them. They had to play Johns Hopkins. Of their 7 losses, 6 were to opponents who have made the NCAA tournament. Stetler sends it over too wide, just beyond the baseline, 13-10. And so now DeLaurel will pick it up by the NCAA logo. Trying to send it over for Stevenson after the timeout. It will be played by Babson. Right on the far spike, set down, block. Babson keeps it alive on a dig. There's Gray. She hits it off the net. Erin Gray went up to make a play on it, but she smacks it right into the net. And it's 13-11, a 2-point contest.
Pretty good chance. Had a nice set, just a little bit far back, right about where the 10-foot line starts.
DeLaurel sends it over right on the line. Whistle blows. Violation against Darian Dildy for going over top of the net. And point to Babson. It's 14-11.
Costly violation there. We've seen a couple whistles blown in favor of Babson so far. That's come back to bite Stevenson so far in this set.
So Ruby Reich gets set for the serve, sends it over, picked up by DeLaurel. Nobody there to play it. It came off the hands of DeLaurel. Michaela Thompson tried to run in on it. Nothing going. It is 15-11. Babson leads again by 4. And no team can control the momentum in this contest here in set number 4. Played over. Here's an opportunity to softly touch, and a great dig by Erin Gray. Now on the far side, topped over by Sophia Shaw. Back on the near side, DeLaurel tried to touch it over. It's right there in. What a job by Michaela Thompson. And Stevenson draws within 3. Back and forth.
Using the palm, just shoving that ball away.
as it's sent over, just dug out by Shaw. Now it's going to be Gray off the hands up front, drops in, point Babson. Shaw has been all over the net today and continuing what has been an amazing performance by the senior from Oakland, California. Leads the team in 4 different categories. Has had at least 8 kills in her last 6 matches. Continuing that trend today. DeLaurel plays it off, going to be playable on the far side, and is picked up by Riley Kimball. Played by Thompson. On again for Kimball. Kimball sets it too far, but it hits off the hands. And a point for Stevenson as it tips off the hands of Babson. It's once again a 3-point contest.
Battling from behind is on the Stevenson side. We're going to see Vieta come back in this game, as well as Simmers, who had a couple key digs early on in this set. Come back in, she's going to serve.
Dildy is out. Simmers serves right there on the line, drops down, whistle blows, point Stevenson. Hits off the hands of Babson, nothing they can do, 16-14.
Back within 2. Down early again. Calling some timeouts, taking their time.
Simmers sends it over, going to be a tough play for Stetler, but she's able to make it off the hands. Saved, whistle blows, never mind. It's a 1-point game, 16-15, Stevenson. The Mustangs racing back in this one. And they're trying to spoil Babson's first round streak. Babson has never lost in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Stevenson hasn't won since 2018 in the tournament. Off the hands up front, great dig, knocked over for Stevenson. Playable now on the far side for Allen, off the hands up front. And it's going to be knocked over on the far side. Right there, playable, tough play, dug out by Babson. Stetler on the far side again for Allen, dug out by DeLaurel. Played by Simmers. Now it's Kimball, hands touch it, save on a dig. DeLaurel once again sends it over off the hands. It's going to be staying in play. So Stevenson's going to have to play it again. Play hits in play. Riley Kimball, we are knotted up at 16. Stevenson again coming from behind.
Could you see this coming? Because I sure could. Down early yet again, taking their time, taking their timeouts. No worries on the Stevenson side. Down by 4 early on in the set. They're back to tie it up.
No lead is safe from Stevenson as there's a spike saved by DeLaurel. Goes into the ceiling but doesn't hit anything. Now right there on the line, hits the net. And there's going to be a net violation against Stevenson. 17-16 Babson. So they get a key point back after Stevenson raced all the way from behind to tie it. And it'll be Lauren Gibbs on the serve for Babson. Sends it over, played. Just tossed over Samantha Simmers. The light tap, they go like they're setting up on an opportunity for Riley Kimball, but it's Simmers who knocks it over. And we're knotted up at 17 again. Still holding on to their timeouts is Babson as Kimball sends it over. Played right in front of the line. And off the hands of Kayla Vaith. Babson says they don't need timeouts to swing momentum. They can do it on their own. 18-17.
See the frustration there. Saying, should have let that one go. Still more than enough opportunity and time for Stevenson to secure the comeback.
Vieta over the top of the net. But it's dug out, and right there is DeLaurel. Hits off the net, but played alive, and we're going to keep going. That one is spiked into the net by Riley Kimball, and it's 19-17. Babson slowly crawling back out. After Stevenson came back to tie this set, Babson once again pulling ahead with the lead is Zoe Ackerman. On the serve, over top. It's going to be played out. Now an opportunity on the far side, just lightly touched. And nothing but open space as knocked over as Julia Vieta makes it a 1-point game for the Mustangs. Fugelstad will go back to serve. Fugelstad sends it over. off the hands of Leinenweber. Now they're hit over, and it's going to be knocked back. Hits off the hands of Stevenson and goes wide. It's 20-18. Babson leads. Substitutions made, as coming in is Isabella Allen on the serve.
Fugelstad and Hoover out on the Stevenson side. As on the Babson side, coming to the bench as well, Whitehurst.
Isabella Allen readies and fires the serve over, just dug out by Riley Kimball. Beautiful play there by DeLaurel, and nothing Babson can do. Hits off the hands. It's back to being a 1-point game. Set number 4, with Stevenson leading 4-1. It started off all Babson, and now Stevenson just trying to come back and tie it once again after going on a run of their own. Michaela Thompson goes back to serve for the Mustangs. Sends it over, hits off the hands awkwardly. Playable, though, for Babson. What a job by McShane to send it over. And it hits off the hands. Stetler can't handle it. Kylie DeLaurel, we are knotted up at 20. DeLaurel, the sophomore from Damascus, Maryland, making a presence felt in this game. She was an All-MAC Commonwealth honorable mention this season, showing why. Timeout by Babson. They take their first of set number 4.
DeLaurel placing the nails in the coffin, her 13th kill of the day. They've placed the nails in. All they've got to do is hammer them down. Already up 2-1 here in set 4. Now coming back from another deficit. Down 4 on a couple of occasions, down 3 on a couple of occasions. And now Stevenson, 4 straight points to tie it up yet again. You can't make it up, and Babson is forced to take yet another timeout.
And it's not just Stevenson that has had the nails in the coffin of their opponent. It's felt like multiple times today that both teams have, including Babson in this set, trying to send it to set number 5. This has been a continuation of what has been an absolutely wild first day of play here in the Ithaca pool of the first round of the NCAA tournament. Eastern won a 5-set match against Tufts and NYU. And set 3 against Eastern Nazarene, one that went to multiple into extra play, as now tied up at 20. It's Michaela Thompson who sends it over, played out by Stetler. Now a spike hits off the hands, goes into the scorer's table. And there's going to be a point for Babson. Hits off the hands and goes right off the printer on the scorer's table. And so Babson up 21-20. Tatum Stetler to serve. In the libero jersey. Sends it over, hits off the hands of DeLaurel. Now going to be playable from Dildy, but saved by Stetler. On the far side, played by McShane. Now heads near DeLaurel, sends it too far. 22-20 Babson. DeLaurel has made that exact move go for points already today. There she adds a little bit too much spice to it. And a timeout called by Stevenson. And a key situation separated only by 2 points. But Babson 2 away from 4, sending this match to a pivotal 5th set. And Stevenson taking another wise timeout as they have all of today. Points and momentum has been a fickle thing from Ben Light Gymnasium. But Babson hoping to recharge in this timeout, while Stevenson trying to get themselves set back once again. It has been a match where neither team has been able to hold any kind of momentum. And right now it's Stevenson hoping that the break can give them a bit of a breather.
Talking about it earlier, neutral site game. You got to bring the energy yourself. Being conscious of how many timeouts you've got, when to use them, how to electrify the momentum. Stevenson has used them very well. And Dave Trumbo to this point, down by 2, saving them so late. And these last could be as many as 8 points, or Could be infinite points depending on how long we go. But whole lot of time left for Stevenson to brew something that they've cooked up so many times already.
In a neutral site venue where Stevenson seemingly has won over the South Hill crowd. It's going to be Stetler to send it, picked up by DeLaurel. Once again for DeLaurel, sends it, and it's dug out by Mollendijk. There's the spike, it is in! The hammer brought down by Babson, and they are 2 away from a 5th set. Lulu McShane knocked it down. Now it's Stetler to set it back up. Dugout going to be a tough play. Cannot bring it out is DeLaurel, and Babson has nullified the Stevenson comeback, and they are 1 point away from a second 5th set game of this first round of the NCAA tournament here in Ithaca, New York. Stetler for the Beavers. From the NCAA logo, sets it over. Played out by Kimball. It's DeLaurel. DeLaurel the spike off the hands. Dug out by Ackerman. Stetler on for McShane. Hits off the hands, goes wide. Played by Kimball. DeLaurel on over. Allen. Set up. The spike down, goes wide. Lauren Gibbs too much on it. Stevenson stays alive. Stevenson has made larger comebacks in this contest. They trail by 3 with no room for error. DeLaurel over. It has stayed in play by Allen. Here's the spike by McShane. Dug out by Vaith. The spike goes over, hits the hands into the Babson bench. 24-22. Stevenson rallying to stay alive. DeLaurel will once again serve, and no room for error. Stevenson trying to end it here, while Babson tries to send it to a 5th set. That one goes wide off the hands of Stetler, and we are 1 away from a tied match at 24. Babson just trying to hold on. If they get one more, we go to 5. And there's a timeout called by Babson. Seeing this contest in this 4th set slip away.
What a job by DeLaurel. Stepping up. There's no time where there's more pressure than match point. You're trailing, and you go to the service line. And what do? You come up with a service ace. Not an easy feat right there from DeLaurel, who's been such a big piece of all of these comebacks for Stevenson. Couple kills straight for Kimball. Another service ace. And they keep on coming. 3 straight points again for Stevenson. This is what it all comes down to. Trying to force extra points and beyond.
And a Stevenson team that throughout the year was led by Darian Dildy, who led the nation in hitting percentage, was one of the top players in the country. Today they've been led by a sophomore in DeLaurel. And that's what happens in the NCAA tournament. Unlikely heroes step up at the most unlikely of times. And now Stevenson will get to serve, with DeLaurel taking it in all likelihood, down 24-23. If it goes against Stevenson, we will play a 5th set. If not, and if it goes for Stevenson, it will be tied up at 24. The biggest serve of the day for DeLaurel. Trying to keep set number 4 alive, sends it over. Played up by Stetler, on the line. Spike down, going to be a tough play, just hits play alive. Saved by Vaith. There's the spike once again, a save by Vaith. There's the spike, it goes wide, and we will play a 5th set. We have had 3 games in this first round of the NCAA volleyball tournament here on the South Hill, and of the 3, 2 will go to 5. Babson notches it up to 2. We're going to take a break. When we come back. Set number 5, the all-important 5th set here from the South Hill.
We are back from Benlight Gymnasium for set number 5. Stevenson came from behind on multiple occasions over the last 2, including the massive set 3 win where they were down early, going on a 9-point streak to take the win. This one's going to need extra sets, or rather all the sets, after extra points early on as well. Stevenson on the right side of the net, Babson on the left. Toby, we've seen so much fight from Stevenson. Talking about it early on, it looked like could be a sweep early on. Coming down from behind after a Babson win in set 1, 25-20, then come from behind wins in both sets 2 and 3, 25-20 and 25-21. On the left side of the court, ready to send it over is Shaw from the near side. Serves it to the back line. Picked up on the dig, DeLaurel. On the attack from Kimball off the net. Point number 1 in the final set goes to Babson.
And you think about in this 5th set, it's only to 15 points, so mistakes are going to be costly. Stevenson has made more mistakes in this game than Babson has. It's just that they haven't been penalized for it yet.
The overhand set. Now on the far side, on the attack. That time, Zepfel. Gray tries to tap it over. Sent back over. Gray again. Far corner for a point. 2-0.
Aaron Gray has slightly becoming a star in this contest for Babson, and right there she found the only open patch of floor out there and was able to get something going.
2-0 run to start it off. Make it 3-0. The reception error to DeLaurel. Crushing it from the line. That's Shaw. How early did we call the timeout? If you're Stevenson, as we're going to see a substitution. Fugelstad comes in. DeLaurel out after a couple of errors. Shaw sends it over to the back row. Overhand set here. And the kill. Tildy, when she's needed most, comes through.
You had to get a point there if you're Stevenson, and who do you turn to? The MVP of your team, Darian Tildy. She's going to go off now for Stevenson.
Overhand set on the back court. Right back over. Gray, the set to the far corner and in. Aaron Gray cashes in.
She's showing all the momentum and all the energy out there on the floor, and you can see it on her reaction right there. She is energized and bringing life back to this Babson team that felt dead last set.
Stelter sends it over. Back set on the attack. Zepfel gets the kill. It's 4-2.
Stevenson's got to put these points together. Babson has gone on those runs. They lead by 2, but again, it's only 4-2. But right now, it feels like the momentum and the weight fully on the Babson side.
Simmers from the far side, preparing to send it over. The stunner step in the serve. Overhand set now. Dug out. Tapped over again. Low set McShane. Back to her. Blocked. Kept in the air, Gray, and then at violation. It's a 1-point game.
And that's what you got to get there on those net violations. They're going to help you out if you're Stevenson. Now you can tie this up in his all-crucial 5th set.
A beautiful dig there from Shaw. Tapped over. Now the dig on the Stevenson side. And the kill. It's Kimball. We're tied at 4.
Sophia Shaw has made a lot of those digs throughout today for Babson. That was just beyond her diving reach, and Stevenson has tied it.
Simmers, center court. Good chance here for Stevenson to set it. It's the back set to Vieta, and Vieta has flipped the script in this game. 5-4, Stevenson on top, just as they've done all day. No matter what the score, working from behind, coming from behind, and coming up victorious. Near set. Out of bounds. Far out in front of the scorer's table. It's a 2-point lead. 6-4 Stevenson up. Consistent points. That's 3 straight for the Mustangs. Set number 5 here to 15 points. Back set on the attack. Out of bounds off the hands of Hoover on defense from the front row. 1-point game yet again. Anticipating a whole lot of lead changes here, Toby.
Yeah, and this has not been a contest where one team has just pulled away in certain sets. It has been back and forth on the edge of your seat kind of game. No reason why this shouldn't change in set number 5.
Reich, the leaping left-handed serve from the near side, cannot be handled by Kimball. We're tied at 6. The electricity apparent in Ben Light Gymnasium in set 5. Serve to the back row, kept up in the air. One more shot to get it over as it's slung over by Vaith. Gray, overhand set. Now to Gibbs, the slide, and it cannot be contained by the Stevenson front row. Haven't called the name of Gibbs in a little bit. All-American honorable mention this past season. Doing her job in the front row there. Back in front, Babson. Serve to the center of the court again. Overhand set, tapped over. Finding some hardwood. Hoover ties us up yet again, 7-7.
Stevenson using the soft tap and the little bits right there just to put it over. They've done that all day, and then when they piece it together, it comes together like a beautiful puzzle.
Stevenson 2 and 3 in games that have gone to 5 sets this season. On the attack now, the kill from Ackerman. And the two sides are going to switch. 8-7. Babson out on top. Babson, they're 5 and 3. 5 and 1 rather, so far this season in 5 sets. Switching benches here. Stevenson on the left, Babson on the right. Knotted up early on here in set 5. Now Babson's got the advantage, 8-7. Both teams settling into their new homes. A couple substitutions on the Babson side, as it'll be Leanin Weber as well as Griffin coming in. It's Leanin Weber from the near side to serve. Overhand stroke, sends it over just atop the net. Back set. And off the fingertip of Thompson. Far out in front of the scorer's table. We're tied. 8-8. It'll be Hoover. From the middle of the court, sends it over. Bouncing off the ceiling and bouncing off the hardwood. Stevenson jumps back out on top.
And I don't know what went higher. That hit off the roof or Brian Trumbo, the assistant coach for Stevenson, leaping in the air. He has got that bench rolling right now. An 8-9 lead.
Service error there from Hoover. It is 9-9 yet again.
And this is the definition of anyone's game. Doesn't matter who the 3 seed or who the 6 seed is in this contest, because both of these teams equally matched, have both had to play tough competition, and it's showing right here.
The save. Overhand set. Kept alive. Babson on the attack. Rejection. Put a side out on the near side. Points go to Babson.
And that's going to be key. They did not get a hand on it right at that line. If they had, it would be 10-9 the other way. Now Babson is 5 away from a win.
Who's going to go to round 2 of the NCAA tournament? Overhand set. Dildy sets it down. Dug out Gibbs on the attack. Kept alive. That's still in play. DeLaurel. Gibbs. The block. The double block. Dildy and Vieta combining This game has been tied more times than you can count on two hands, and it's only 10-10.
And Riley Kimball is the only reason why we're tied. Stevenson was going in to huddle up as soon as they thought that one was dead, but it was Kimball with the presence of mind to break back and keep the volley alive.
Thompson, near side, sends it over, received, off the net. Stevenson takes it over, 11-10. They're 4 away.
And just an awkward hit for Babson. They just couldn't go on it. You're only 4 away, but again, that means nothing in this game because who has the lead doesn't matter. It's been that kind of game. Nothing has been sacred today.
Looking for the upset in round 1. Stevenson, the 6th seed, gets the block yet again. Zepfel, Dildy, 2-point game, 3 away.
When Stevenson has the momentum, they look unstoppable. It's only that momentum has been temporary in this game, and a key timeout taken by Babson. They're going to settle him down.
Babson heads to the bench looking to fire each other up. Stevenson heads to their bench. They've already brought the fire. All they need to do is maintain what they've done so far in set number 5 after 3 straight points for Stevenson. This game, this set tied 10 times already. It's 12-10, going back and forth, taking turns with the lead as they have throughout each set to this point. 2-2 looking for a winner. Going over plays in the huddle is the 16th year head coach Dave Trumbo. For Stevenson, for the Beavers, Eric Neely in his 13th season. This is what it all comes down to. Who will move on? Stevenson, they haven't made it to the second round since 2018 when they lost in the second round to Ithaca. Babson, they've never had a first round exit. Losses in the second round the last 2 seasons to Juniata and Tufts. Stevenson, they're trying to rewrite history here. To serve on the near side, Thompson. Over to the far side. Back set. Attack. And the kill. Melendick.
And that timeout works for Babson right there. They're able to settle themselves down, and they stop Stevenson's run. Stevenson had all the momentum. Now you calm them down, and you can get yourselves in a groove.
Ackerman, 42 service aces on the season. Already won today to the line. Kept up in the air. Lauren throws it over to the back corner. Off the line. Stays in. Stevenson keeps on cruising. They'll send DeLaurel to the line to serve. She's put the team on her back here in round 1. DeLaurel sends it over the far side on the reception. To the near side now the set. McShane sends it over. The dig from Kimball. Shoved right back over. They keep on going. Shot to the far side, kept up Ackerman. Back to Allen. On the attack dugout. Faith in front of the net. Can they keep it alive? The last second sling from Dildy goes into the Babson bench out of bounds, 13-12. They keep on going back and forth as we're going to see Gray as well as Shaw checking back in for Babson. Gray's been so key. With that point, she gets to go back to the front row, returns to the game, and with Gray coming back in with the Babson now within 1, timeout is going to be called by Trumbo.
Yeah, and timeouts for both of these teams have really been momentum shifters. You saw Trumbo obviously earlier in this contest. He called the timeout being down only 3-0, knowing in set 2 that one might have been the game. If they didn't get that set back for them, they likely would not be in this position here for a 5th set. And the game now where you're only 2 away from a win, but Babson's only 3 away from a win, and momentum and points have gone back and forth in this contest faster than we can even say.
The amount of lead changes so far in the entirety of this game you can't even count without going through the stat sheet and a calculator to add up dozens, because that's how many there's been. And so much of that has been Stevenson playing from behind. Doesn't matter. Babson from the right side of the court. Shaw down by 1 are the Beavers. 2 points of the last 3 have gone to Babson. Overhand set. Gently tapped over Dildy. Back set now. Far side, McShane. Dug out, Thompson. Again, McShane. Hands meeting in the air. Sent over, what a job from DeLaurel. Back set again. McShane kept in the air. It keeps on going to Laurel, far out. Tied 13-13.
Stevenson did everything right. Every single time it looked like the ball was going to find the hardwood, they cleared it out and kept it going. DeLaurel just unable to keep it in at the very end.
Now 3 of the last 4 points have gone in favor of Babson. Off the block, kept alive, Stevenson. DeLaurel off the net on the attack error. Babson is 1 point away from going around 2.
And you think about how big DeLaurel has been in this game for Stevenson. She's kept him alive at so many points. That one mistake, if Babson is able to score on this next set after the timeout, will be the mistake that likely would have ended the game.
That's what it all comes down to. Stevenson takes the timeout. 1 point away from their season ending. Only a few away from sending them to round 2 of the playoffs for the first time since 2018. The momentum in favor of Babson. 4 of the last 5 points have been Beaver points. But Stevenson, we're still dancing around in the huddle.
They're still feeling loose, and that's got to be exactly how Stevenson comes out of this timeout. If they come out locked up and focused on the fact that you're 1 set away from your season being done, you cannot win that way. Stevenson has to come out with the mindset they have all game, and that has been loose and loud. And that is what has gotten them to this 5th set, down by only 1, and a contest with the Babson team that has never lost in the first round.
3 straight points for Babson. 1 away. Shaw. Far side, overhand serve. DeLaurel on the reception. On the attack, Kimball. Kept alive by Gray. The dive, the dig. Off the scorer's table, far out. And Babson is headed to round 2.
Back and forth. This contest, early in set 5, it looked all Babson. Late in set 5, it looked all Stevenson. And it ends all Babson. This game, you could not predict how it went with the amount of lead changes. What a contest between Babson and Stevenson. Stevenson, incredible job, just unable to finish it late. And for the Babson Beavers, momentum, and whether they get to face Ithaca or Framingham, the Bombers or the Framingham team is going to have a tough matchup either way.
Framingham State and Ithaca on deck. The winner will face Babson, who advances to round 2, continuing that streak of never having lost in round 1 of the NCAA tournament. And Stevenson, for the 4th straight season, knocked out in round 1, despite making the NCAA tournament for the 13th straight time. Babson, their dance continues. That'll come tomorrow against the winner of Ithaca and Framingham State. That's on deck here on Ithaca Athletics. Signing off for Toby Zabore, I'm Eli Fishman. Thank you so much for joining us. And again, keep it right here for the biggest game of the afternoon, at least for the Ithaca fans. That's Ithaca, number 23 in the nation, and Framingham State.